style. So you'll see our stage is sort of arched. And in addition, instead of wearing full costumes, they are in masks like the ancient Greeks would have worn. They made them all by themselves, designed them. I'm just so proud of them. I have a few people to thank because this is my first time as artistic director for the players. So I need to thank some people who helped me along the way. Tara McBoy and Kimberly Jones helped me work on the script. Sunny Bowles and Jason Smith helped me make some of these awesome set pieces that you'll see. Basically, everybody on Little Shop staff was really supportive, and I especially have to thank the parents of all these kids who brought their kids out to rehearsals, who had such a good attitude about my constant stream of emails and changes in schedule and everything. And I think we pulled together a really, really good show. So if you wouldn't mind silencing your cell phones and tune in for Tales of the Greek Heroes.
After Zeus finished the creation of man, he went away into the rocky land of Arcadia in the south of Greece and lived there for a while with the star maiden Maya. They lived in a cave on a beautiful Mount Selene, and there a child was born whose name was Hermes. None of the immortals knew where Zeus had gone, nor what he was up to, but Apollo learned in a strange way. For Apollo owned a herd of the most magnificent cattle, and they were governed by Helios, the titan who drove the chariot of the sun. One morning, Helios sent a message to Apollo.
The cows have vanished. Last night they were grazing peacefully in the green valley of Arcadia, and today there is not a trace of them to be seen.
Full of rage, Apollo set out across Greece in search of them. In Arcadia, he met a band of sailors who were wild woodlots. They had pointed ears and little horns on their head, and their leader, Silenus, was fat and fluid.
We'll find your cows. You trust us, Lord Apollo. We're always ready to help, and our eyes are sharp, and we're afraid of nothing.
Good. Find my cows and I will reward you well.
Apollo went on his way, and the sailors began their search up and down the valleys of Arcadia. After a long time, they found the cows' hooves, but to their great surprise, the tracks all pointed towards the grazing ground from which they had been stolen.
They're mad! They're bewitched! And some terrible creature must have driven them. Look at his footmarks.
As they stood talking, a musical sound came to them out of the cave at the hillside. They were terrified it was a cow-stealing monster, so they all began to make as much noise as they could just outside the cave from which the music came.
And he'll be so afraid of us that if he's the cattle thief, he'll pounce over chairs as soon as he sees us.
Hardly had they spoken when the door of the cave opened slowly, but instead of any monster, there came out of the cave a beautiful mountain nymph.
Wild creatures, why do you make this noise and frighten all of us who live in this pleasant land? I heard your crazy shouting and the stomp of your feet in front of my cave, and wonder why you disturb a poor nymph like this.
Don't be mad, beautiful nymph. You will see that we shall not come here as enemies. But that sound, that one of the music, what is it and who is making it?
Come, that's better. You will learn by gentleness what you would never discover by force. Then know that I am Selene, the nymph of this mountain, and that I am the nurse to a son of Zeus and the star nymph, Maya. His name is Hermes, and he is a wonderful child. He's only 6 days old, and yet he grows at an amazing speed. As to the sound you heard, it was a strange thing which the child has made out of a dead creature which made no sound at all when it was alive.
A dead cow? Dead creature? Not a cow by any chance.
What nonsense you talk! It was a turtle. Hermes has used its shell to make a wonderful new musical instrument by stretching a piece of oxhide across it and stringing it with cowbell.
There he is! He's the one who stole Apollo's cattle.
Do you dare call the son of Zeus a thief? I tell you it's nonsense. A baby less than a week old doesn't go stealing cows. I'll swear by any oath you like there isn't a single cow in that cave.
Well, let's see his child anyhow.
Meanwhile, Apollo, still searching far and wide, came to the further side of Mount Selene and found strange tracks just as the satyrs had found. And while he was puzzling over them, he met an old man called Battus. Pointing to the tracks, he questioned.
There have been cows passing this way, but the tracks lead mysteriously to the grazing ground from which they have been stolen. Tell me, old man, have you seen them, and do you know where they are?
Listen, I
I'm old and not very well. When I saw Louis' cousin, last night I was digging my visor through the sun let down, and I was still there after someone had turned the moon into the sky. And in the light I saw, or I thought I saw, a child from the great red castle. Sometimes he fell before and my He was further dark and nothing was very silver. And on its feet were strange shoes made of twigs. You could see brown marks over the yonder.
Apollo thanked old Battus and hastened on the trail of the cattle. Very soon he found them pinned into a great cave. He went after them to the other side of the mountain and found the satyr still questioning Hermes outside Maya's cave.
There he is! He's the one who stole Apollo's cattle. This boy here. He's his son, Zeus, so he says, but he's still a thief. He tracked 2 of the cows down to this cave, and he has in his hand a piece of the skin of one of them.
Apollo saw then that there would be trouble. So he thanked Silenus and his satyrs, gave them their reward, and sent them away.
Child, tell me quickly if you knew where my cattle were, or I shall deal severely with you and fling you down into the depths of Tartarus, even if you are indeed the son of Zeus.
Brother Apollo, why do you speak to me so harshly? Why do you come here looking for cattle? I have not seen them. How should I even know what cows look like? I am only a baby. I do not care for anything but sleep and warm pillow, or to play with toys such as this. But if it pleases you, I will swear by Styx, the Black River of Death. For I am an immortal, and immortals cannot break their oath. Listen, by Styx I swear that none of the cows are in this cave, and I have not laid my eyes on the thief this morning.
Surely after this your name shall be Prince of Robbers. Your clever story does not fool me, so come quickly to Olympus, and as Zeus our father has returned, we will lay the case before him.
As Apollo listened to the music, he forgot his anger and thought no more about his past. His only desire was to make such music himself, and he stretched out his hands to Hermes.
Give me the lyre, and I will forgive you for the theft of my cattle and for the 2 cows that you have killed. Give me the lyre, and swear that you will not steal from me again, and I will give you also my wand and make you the herald of the immortals, and the guide of souls from the stairs of death.
As Apollo was speaking, Zeus drew near and heard all that he had said.
It shall be so. Swear the oath, said Hermes, and give the lyre to Apollo. Then he should be the lord of music and all sweet songs. And the 9 muses shall follow him and do him honor. And you, Hermes, should be our messenger. Welcome to the golden cause of Zeus. He's kindly disposed to the mortals' honor.
The oath was sworn, and Apollo took the lyre and went gladly on his way. Hermes remained for a time in Arcadia, but he did not stay many days in the cave on Mount Selene. Though Zeus lingered there for only a night, all well for them.
In Tiryns lived King Acrisius, who had 1 child only, a lovely girl called Danae. Being very anxious to have a son, Acrisius went to ask the oracle Apollo what he had done wrong. His question was not answered. Instead, the oracle warned him that his daughter would have a son who would kill him.
We'll see about that.
Vowing if Danae should never marry or have a son, he shut her up in a tower at Tiryns. But Zeus visited Danae in a shower of golden rain and spoke with her. Soon, they had a son called Perseus, who was born there in the prison tower of Tiryns. When Acrisius heard that, in spite of all his precautions, he had had a grandson, he was filled with anger and fear, and these feelings made him cruel. He had a big wooden chest made, and he set Danae with the baby in her arms and pushed out on the waters in the Bay of Nauplia.
It would be a terrible crime for me to kill my daughter and my grandson, and the immortals would send a curse upon me. But no, I am merely sending them across the sea, and if the waves chance to fill the chest and make it sink, I am not to blame.
Away floated the chest over the blue sea and out of sight of land. And soon the waves began to rise and the wind to blow, and Danae wept with fear and held the baby Perseus close in her arms.
Oh, what a thing is yours and you do not cry. It sleeps peacefully as ever, feeling no terror of the dreadful place in which we are. You do not fear the sea, nor salt stay on your head. Neither do not have Father Zeus would protect us. Then sleep on, sweet babe, for the waves will only to rock your cradle, and I'll pray for Zeus that we may come safely to land.
All night the chest floated over the sea, and in the morning it was washed up on the island where Polydectes came. There Perseus grew up, a strong and noble youth, skilled in all manner of things. In time, King Polydectes fell in love with Danae, but she would not marry him, for he was a cruel and wicked tyrant. He wanted to take her by force, but this he dared not do, because Perseus was always there, to guard her. So he came up with a scheme to get rid of Perseus without being linked to him. He held a great feast, which invited all the women of Seriphos, including Perseus, and they all came bringing rich gifts to the king. But Perseus had nothing to give, since he and his mother were very poor. All the young men mocked him until his cheeks burned with shame.
I'll bring a finer gift than any of you. That cannot be, unless you bring me the Gorgon's head.
Dun, dun,
That I shall, or die of it.
And with that, he rushed out of the palace and was laughing loud laughter and jeers of Polydectes and his friends, and went down beside the quiet sea to think what we should do. While he sat there, deep in thought, Athena and Hermes came to him.
Don't be sad, Perseus, for by the will of Zeus, we are here to help. See here, I lend you the sharpest weapon in the world, the very sickle of adamant with which Cronos wounded the sky, and with which Zeus used in his battle with Typhon. No lesser blade will smite the head of Medusa the Gorgon.
And I will lend you my shield, which I dazzle the eyes of mortals who do battle. Any mortal who looks upon the face of Medusa is turned to stone immediately. If you only see her reflection in the shield, all will be well.
Rise now. Your mother will be safe until you return, but the good fisherman Dictys will protect her. First you must visit the Grey Sisters and learn from them how to find the nymphs who dwell at the back of the North Wind. They will lend you anything else you may need and tell you how to find the Gorgons and how to escape when you have slain Medusa.
So Perseus hastened away. He came, as Hermes had instructed him, to the lonely cave in the dark north where the Grey Sisters lived. They had been born old women with gray hair, and who had only one eye and one tooth between them. Perseus stepped quietly up behind them as they sat near the mouth of their cave, and as they passed a single eye from one to another, he took it from an outstretched hand and then cried aloud,
Daughters of Phorcys, I have your eye, and I will keep it and leave you forever in terrible darkness if you do not tell me what I need to know.
Give us back our eye, and we will swear by sticks to tell you truthful honor. But do not leave us forever in this terrible darkness.
So Perseus learned the way to the magic land back of the North Wind, and returning the eye, hastened on his journey. When he reached the garden of the northern nymphs, he was welcomed kindly with them and rested for a long time. But he knew he must leave.
Fair nymphs, I must cast them away to the Gorgon Medusa and bring back her head to the wicked King Polydectes. Tell me, I beg of you, how I may find the Gorgons and how I may slay Medusa.
You will run to the ships of Slipper so that you may escape. And this is terrible sister. And we will lend you this magical wand in which to carry away the head. And here is the cap of Hades, the dog's cap, which makes its wearer invisible.
Perseus now had everything he needed and was ready for his dreadful task. He said goodbye to the kind nymphs and set out on the way which the Grey Sisters had told him. And he came at last to the stony land of the Gorgons. He saw the three terrible sisters lying asleep in the sun, with the snakes, which grew instead of hair, writhing about the head of Medusa. Wearing the cap of darkness and stepping carefully, Perseus drew near, looking only at the reflection in Athena's shield. He drew the adamantine sickle and cut off the terrible head with a single blow. Then, quick as he could, he picked it up, leapt into the air, and sped away on the shoes of Cygnus as fast as he could go. Night came, and in the morning, as he flew over the sea shore, he beheld what at first he thought was a statue of a fair girl made from the rock. Stooping down, Perseus found that it was no statue, but a living maiden chained to the face of the rock.
Chained maiden, my heart bleeds for you.
Who speaks? Who isn't pity's poor doomed Andromeda?
Poor Andromeda, why are you chained here?
Weeping bitterly, she told him how our foolish mother Cassiopeia had offended the sea with writing, and they had wanted to destroy all the seacoasts, including until King Cepheus, her father, chained her there as a sacrifice, hoping to satisfy the creature's fury.
If I save you, will you at least remember me?
Do not make me cry, doomed of deeds that never been done.
Deeds that men have deemed impossible, but accomplished before.
Then he turned quickly away, for he had noticed a ripple in the sea drawing nearer. In a few moments, the monster raised its head above the water and opened wide its fierce jaws. Then, while Andromeda screamed, Perseus drew the Gorgon's head from his maw and held it up in front of the savage eyes. And the monster sank back, still and cold and silent. Then Perseus returned the head to the magic wall, cut Andromeda's chains, and carried her to the safety of the cliff top. King Cepheus readily agreed that Perseus should marry her. So Perseus stayed, and there was a noble feast at his wedding. But as they sat at the great table, the doors flung suddenly open, and a great man came in, followed by a band of desperate all drawn swords.
Yield up Andromeda to me. She was promised to me, and unless I get her, I'll slaughter every man here, burn the city, and carry off the women to be my slaves.
Perseus strode down the hall until he stood in front of Aeneas, and taking up the Gorgon's head, he turned him and all his followers to stone that instant. Not long after this, Perseus and Andromeda set sail for Greece, and came to the island of Seriphos. Here, he found that his mother was in prison. That his mother had been made a slave by Polydectes, while Dictys, his kind friend, was in prison. Leaving Andromeda on the ship, Perseus went and found Polydectes sitting with the same band of followers who had made fun of him once before.
Well, if it isn't that landless boaster, Perseus. Have you, by any chance, brought me the present you promised?
Yes, I have, King. By my promise, bringing the Gorgon's head.
Boaster and liar, do you think to frighten us with empty words? Show us this wonder if you can.
Perseus answered nothing, but pulled the Gorgon's head out of his wall and held it up for all to see. And afterwards, the stone lumps which had once been men were dragged out and dumped on the hillside. After this, Dictys became king of Seriphos and married Danae, while Perseus and Andromeda set sail for Argos, where they ruled for many years and had many children.
Come on, guys, it's okay. you guys so much for coming. Feel free to come up and look at the set if you want to see some of their drawings. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and thanks again for coming to see us today.